Okay. So let's jump into something that I think is on a lot of people's minds, especially around here, in Ottawa, real estate.
Yeah.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah.
But we're going to get even more specific today.
Okay.
We're talking about the almost impossible quest to find a home for under $300,000.
Oh, wow.
Can you even imagine? It's like you're trying to buy your first place.
Right.
Get that starter home that everyone dreams of.
Yeah.
And you've got a budget. You got to stick to it.
Yeah.
So we found this interesting source. It's actually a piece of real estate marketing, believe it or not.
Okay.
But it lays out the situation pretty bluntly. And I think there are some hidden truths that we can pull out of this, even though it is a sales pitch.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. So get this. This source straight up says, finding a detached home in Ottawa for under $300,000. Impossible.
Wow.
It's like trying to find a unicorn riding a bicycle.
That's pretty,
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty blunt. It's interesting to me that someone whose literal job is to sell you a home is admitting defeat on this front. I mean, It says a lot about what's happening in this market.
Exactly. So, is this just like classic sales hyperbole, or is it actually close to reality?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, but I think it's closer to reality than we'd like to admit. Detached homes in Ottawa, especially in the city, they've just become so expensive.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
So what's driving this then? Is it just like basic supply and demand? Or is there something else going on here?
Well, it's definitely supply and demand is part of it.
Right.
But I think there are other factors too.
Okay.
If you think about it, the city's population is growing, especially in the tech sector.
Right.
So you have more people with higher salaries coming in, more demand for those detached homes.
Right.
And then at the same time, you have limited land for development.
Yeah.
So you have that scarcity factor coming into play as well. And then, of course, there's the whole interest rate situation. You know, low interest rates over the past few years that really fueled borrowing. Drove prices up even further.
Yeah, there's like a perfect storm.
Exactly. It's like a perfect storm of factors.
Wow.
All converging at once.
So what are people supposed to do if they want that detached home, but they don't want to, spend $1 million?
Right.
What are their options?
Well, our source suggests looking outside of Ottawa.
Okay.
Maybe 30, 60 kilometers out.
So, is that becoming the new normal? Is that what people are having to do?
It is. We're seeing this trend of people kind of escaping to the countryside.
Interesting.
Driven by affordability. But it's more than that. People are looking for space.
Right.
Maybe a yard for their kids, a sense of community that maybe is a little harder to find in a big city.
Yeah, makes sense.
But of course, the trade-off is you're going to have a longer commute.
Right.
More time on the road, more gas money.
So it's a tough decision.
It is, yeah.
How far are you willing to go for that extra space and that lower price? What if someone doesn't want to commute, though? What if they really want to stay in the city? What are they supposed to do?
Well, this source seems to think that the only option left is condos. They're saying that's the last bastion of affordability within the city limits.
So is that true, though? Are condos really the answer?
Well, they definitely have been a haven for budget-conscious buyers up until now.
Go ahead.
I mean, you got to remember that condo fees often include things like maintenance and amenities,
right,
which is appealing for a lot of people. And there's generally more condos being built compared to detached homes.
Pretty more supply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So more supply helps to kind of keep prices in check.
So are they actually more affordable then?
Well, they have been relatively affordable.
Right.
But even condos are starting to feel the pressure.
Really?
Well, yeah. The source mentions that even 2-bedroom units could soon be exceeding that $300,000 mark.
Wow.
And if you look at the data, the average price for a 2-bedroom condo has gone up something like 15% in just the last couple years.
15% in 2 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is a lot.
So even if condos are a little more affordable now, it sounds like that's changing pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add in the sources like intense call to action.
Oh, yeah.
All that contact us now, don't miss out stuff.
Right.
That kind of adds to the sense of urgency.
Definitely.
Is that just them using classic real estate tactics?
Yes.
Or is it a sign that the market really is that hot?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
Those tactics are always there.
Yeah.
But they're definitely amplified in a market like this.
Right.
Where demand is so high and there's not much inventory.
Yeah.
Buyers really need to be ready to act quickly.
Okay.
Maybe offer above asking price.
Wow.
Maybe be prepared to compromise on some things they thought were non-negotiable.
So it's not just about finding a place you love. It's about being strategic.
Exactly. You got to be savvy.
Wow. This is a lot to think about.
Yeah.
We've only looked at one tiny little piece of this whole Ottawa real estate puzzle.
Yeah, right.
But it tells us so much.
It does. It's like a microcosm of the bigger picture.
So what do you hope our listeners will take away from this?
I think the biggest thing is to just do your research.
Yeah.
Don't just jump into anything. Understand what's driving those crazy prices.
Right.
Explore all your options. Don't be afraid to look outside the city. And don't let FOMO get the best of you.
That fear of missing out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't let it push you into making a decision that you're not 100% comfortable with.
That's great advice. So maybe everyone listening should go check out some listings online.
Yeah.
Or even do their own deep dive into some market data.
Exactly.
You might be surprised by what you find. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Ottawa real estate market.
My pleasure.
And until next time, happy house hunting.
To learn more about this realtor, you can click the link below in the video's description.